Hey guys, Hello Bella here, and in this video I'm going to be giving you my step-by-step process on how to host a successful open house. This video is geared towards new realtors, but this could also be applicable to realtors who haven't hosted a lot of open houses, or maybe you have been in and out of real estate, or maybe you're a for sale by owner. There are a lot of steps that go into making an open house successful. Simply just opening the doors to a house and waiting for people to come is really not a good strategy, especially since we are living in the age of social media. There are a lot of steps that I would do to promote my open house before I ever hosted it, and things that I would want to do afterwards to follow up with my clients or potential clients after hosting that open house. Open houses can serve a lot of purposes for realtors, but one of the main purposes I think is to get new clients. In order to get new clients, you're going to have to make a pretty good impression on them, especially if this is their first impression of you. And what better way to do that than to show them that you are working on a Saturday or a Sunday for a client that you already have. Something that I didn't realize when I was a new agent is that it doesn't need to be your listing for you to host the open house. You can actually host open houses for other agents within your brokerage, and they will really appreciate getting that exposure to their listing, especially if they're an agent who has 30 or 40 listings on the market. There's just no way for them to be at every single listing every single weekend. So kind of asking some older agents, hey, can I host an open house for you? Can I, do this or that? Most agents are going to be happy for you to do that. And it's a good way to get your foot in the door to becoming a listing agent. So the first step in this process is that you're going to have to get permission and approval on the dates from the homeowner. And this can be a little bit challenging because you want them to leave the property. If they have pets or children, you definitely want all of that stuff gone. You want them to pick up a little bit, clean up the house, and kind of get everything out of the way. So after you've gotten permission from the homeowner, that's when you're going to start your marketing process. And the marketing is honestly 80% of what goes into making a open house successful, because in order to get people to come, they have to know about it, right? The second thing that I would do is start my marketing process. I would go ahead and submit an ad to a local paper. A couple of reasons to do this is because one, you want to get your name out there, but two, older people still read the paper. Believe it or not, there are a whole demographic of people who still read the print newspaper. The way it works in my community is we have a weekly ad that goes out every week to like 70,000 different homes, and that would be, kind of the way that everyone could see your ad. And so I would probably run a paper ad if it was a property that I thought, could definitely benefit from being seen. Now, this would probably be for your own listing. If this is for the agent's listing, let the agent pay for the ad and let them advertise it for you. So 5 days before the open house, I would send out mailers to the whole neighborhood that the open house was going to be in, letting them know that a house was going to come up for sale in their neighborhood, or that an open house was going to be happening in their neighborhood. And the reason that I do this is because a lot of people want their friends and family to move into their neighborhood, and a lot of people will show up from the neighborhood just to kind of see the house. And that's a great chance to meet new people, to get yourself known in that neighborhood, especially if it's a neighborhood that you could see yourself wanting to do a lot of listing in, if it's a higher end neighborhood, or a neighborhood that is like moving pretty quickly, if it's in a good school district, or if it's just one that you know that you want to work with in the future. I think it's a great idea to start planting seeds with the people who live in that neighborhood in order to get their future business. So my marketing to the neighbors might be something simple like, you're invited to an open house in your neighborhood. We would love it if you would stop by. You don't have to be interested in buying or selling right now. We just want everyone in the neighborhood to come by and have a good time. You want to make it as casual as possible. You don't want to make it a salesy kind of pitch kind of thing. You want people to have their guard down, and you don't want people to feel like awkward or uncomfortable coming to your open house. When I think about an open house, I really think of it as just kind of like a little get together among friends. You just sit and chat and you walk around and you talk about things, what's going on in the community, what are some things that are coming up, and the house is sort of in the background of this whole thing. I bring a sign-in sheet to my open houses, and not everyone would sign the sign-in sheet, but the sign-in sheet would have, your name, your number, whether you're looking to buy or sell a house, your email, and things like that. And the reason that I would do this is if people actually like you, they will sign the sign-in sheet. There are always going to be those people who are like, I'm not signing anything, I'm not giving away my information, but most people are very polite and will sign the sign-in sheet. So from that sign-in sheet, after the open house happens, I would personally thank all the people that came to to my open house, I would send them a little card, or I would call them and say, hey, I just wanted to thank you for coming to my open house. If there's anything I could do, please let me know. And that would be a good way to have a second contact with them, because in real estate, one thing that you've got to understand is that in order to build trust, you need to have multiple touches to someone. So touches are basically like interactions, mail or phone calls, and you need to touch someone 7 or 8 times in order for them to start learning to trust you. So another thing that I'm going to do 5 days prior to my open house is I'm going to start putting up the signs. So if my open house is on a Saturday or Sunday, I want the signs to be going up on a Monday or Tuesday. I want people to start getting excited about it. I want them to be able to plan to visit it. I want people in the community to start talking about it. I want the nosy neighbors to start passing that information along. I don't want to be that realtor who is putting up the signs on Saturday that they're having the open house on the way to the open house. That's just not good business. This is going to be sort of an advanced tip, and you don't have to use this, but if you are using software like Redx is something that you can use to get the phone numbers and the addresses of people around your open house, and any neighborhood you can do this search. But if you have Redx, I would personally call a few of the neighbors and let them know that we're going to be doing an open house, and I might even stop by if I'm in an extroverted mood. I might walk the neighborhood and let them know, hey, I just want to let you guys know we're having an open house. So if you see a bunch of cars at this house on this particular day, don't worry about it. That's why. We would love for you to come to the open house and check it out. No pressure. You don't need to, worry about us making a sales pitch to you. We just want everybody to come and have a good time. I would definitely put all of my open houses on Facebook, Instagram, and Zillow, and in the paper, and sometimes YouTube. Sometimes I would record a video of the open house and post it to YouTube, just depending on what type of neighborhood you're in and whether or not you have a YouTube channel for your personal real estate business as well. And I would also go live at my open house. And I felt like going live at my open house was kind of boring at first, but then people will go back and watch those live videos. So you can go live on Facebook or Instagram. You just want to make sure that you're going live on whatever platforms are the busiest for you as far as building your business. If you're going live, you want to go live on your personal Facebook page. That way people see, oh, this real estate agent is out there. They're working on a Saturday or Sunday and they're trying to sell this house. And I would really preach on the live, how exciting it is to be in this new house or this house that I've got for sale, and some of the interesting features in the house. And I would also tell people to just come by even if they're just curious about the house, because this is another way to kind of get people when they're not looking to buy a house, and then later on they're going to think of you when they think about buying a house. I often told my friends and family to come to my open houses because it kind of helps to get you, have someone going in and out of the door. People see the cars coming by. People see that people are going in and out of this particular property, and it builds interest. So if you have your friends or family, rope them in and make them come by your open house, definitely. I would bring a few snacks and drinks to my open house, but I would not go super crazy on it because most people really don't want food from an open house. Unless you're going to do like a super high-end open house, I really wouldn't worry too much about it. I know you always see the realtor who's like baking cookies in the homeowner's oven and like trying to make the house smell good and things like that. I would bring some spray to spray the property with, like some smell good spray. Nothing super crazy, maybe just some cotton scent or some lavender, something chilled, not something overwhelming, because a lot of people are sensitive to smells. I really can't stress enough that you need to market this open house before it happens. There is a section that you can put on Facebook for events. You might want to set it up as an event. And you also need to go into Zillow and let Zillow know that you are hosting an open house. Because if people aren't aware that this is happening, there's just no way that they're going to be able to go to it. So posting it all over social media is really the most crucial step in hosting an open house. One thing that I like to do for my sellers was that I would always count the number of guests that we had come into the open house. Then I would kind of give my seller a little report at the end of the open house. I might say something like, hey, we had 12 guests, and out of those 12 guests, it looked like about 4 of them were qualified buyers, and it looked like 2 of them may actually be really interested in the property, so I plan on following up with them this week and giving them a call. You want to give your seller a report so that they feel like they didn't waste their time leaving their house on the weekend, and that you also did your job, because part of your job is to get the information from those people and follow up with them, whether they want to buy that house or they want to buy another house. You need to be involved in this whole entire process. You can't just let people walk out the door and then forget about them and never talk to them again. You really want to get that contact information and try following up with them a couple of times before you just kind of give up on that person as a potential client. Another tip I have for an open house is that you really just want to be yourself. You want to have your personality at the open house. Don't try to be fake. Don't try to be what you think a realtor should be. Just be yourself. That's who people are going to hire. That's who people are going to work with. And you want to attract clients who like you for you, because if you put on a fake persona, you're going to have to wear that mask the entire time that you work with that client. So I think it's important to be yourself, be down to earth, and be who you are so that your client or potential client can see that. Now, as far as what to bring to the open house, you can bring a couple of snacks, like I said, but I would also bring a data sheet about the house. But the reason I would bring the data sheet is twofold, because people are going to start asking you a lot of questions. And if you're doing an open house every single weekend, it's going to be impossible to memorize the details of every single house. So you want to bring a data sheet in order to just give them that sheet and say, look, this has the age of everything, the age of the roof, when the house was built. That data sheet is going to be able to answer all of their questions. And my tip for you is to make sure that data sheet has your contact information on it, because the last thing we want is for them to be calling another realtor in reference to the listing that you had the open house on. You want your contact information on the data sheet so that you can say, look, this has all my information, and if you want to call me and ask me questions later, I totally understand. You're welcome to do that. My phone number is on the sheet and we can just talk later. You don't have to memorize every detail about the house, but it helps to have 2 or 3 things that you can consider selling points for the house. So if the house has a pool, if the house has an outdoor shed, if the house has, new floor or a new roof or something like that, you definitely want to mention that. And if you can give details as to who provided the roof or who put in the pool, that's also really good information, because at the end of the day, people trust brands that they know. So if you can say, hey, this particular roofing company just did a great job on this roof last year, and it's actually under a 20-year warranty, that really builds trust within the customer, and it builds a little bit of kind of comfort for them, because buying a house is really a scary thing. So any kind of assurance that you can give someone in the process of buying a house is actually really helpful in selling them to make that decision. Last thing that you're going to do with your open house is you're going to want to take down all of your signs. You're going to want to remove everything from the homeowner's house. You want to thank the homeowner for letting you host the open house. If you hosted for another agent, you want to thank the agent for giving you the opportunity to host their listing. And you also want to thank everyone who came out to your open house. Basically, thanking people is another reason to talk to them, and that's another reason that you can kind of get that interaction. So make sure that you follow up with as many people as possible at the end of your open house. This video was definitely more about the step-by-step process of hosting an open house, but I definitely have a lot of psychological things about hosting an open house that I could probably make another video about. There are definitely a lot of things that can make an open house awkward, so I do have some tips on how to kind of, talk to people and kind of get people in the door and feeling good about the open house, but I can make a separate video on that if this video gets enough interest. If you did enjoy the video, I would super appreciate it if you give the video a thumbs up, and if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, I would appreciate that as well. If you're hosting your first open house, just know that it's probably not going to go perfectly, but it's definitely going to be a learning experience, and you will get better as time goes on. Thank you so much for watching the video, guys. I'll catch you in the next one.